Hey everybody, just Jesse here, welcoming you back into my garage, my man cave, for another day of accountability. How you guys doing with that? I hope you guys are doing well. Today is Monday, it's July 20th, the year 2020, and I want to talk to you today about Colossians chapter 4. Now we'll start a little bit earlier than Colossians chapter 4, roughly 3:18 through the end of 4 for this one, but we're going to talk about how you can't separate leadership from relationships. Now, one of the biggest concerns in today's leaders is that we need to be keeping and discussing relationships. When you get down to it, leadership is all about relationships. Paul outlines 3 levels of leadership, and let's take a look at what he's talking about. The first one has to do with leaders can impress others from a distance. Really what he's saying is that in order to do this, it's going to require the will of the leader, that the leader must determine to perform excellently. The second one is that we're going to talk to you about leaders that can influence others if they get closer. This requires the will of the followers. They must choose to emulate the leader. So what the leader does excellently, he sees, the follower sees how well he's doing that and says, I can do that, teach me how, I want to learn from you. So that's the second one, that's influence. So impress and influence. The third one is that leaders can impact others only in a close relationship. If you're a leader and you're trying to reach out to the guy on the corner that you've never met, there's no way that he's going to follow what you say. You have to be able to build a trust with them. You have to be able to build that rapport, and the only way to do that is to become friends with them, is to open your heart, open your trust with them. So that one, in order to impact others, it requires the will of both the leader and the follower. The leader has to give, the follower has to take, and it only can occur when that trust develops. So Paul is talking first to the relationships in the home, meaning that husbands and wives, family, we have to develop that leadership. You have to be able to develop that relationship in order to know that when they're talking about how wives are to be submissive to the husbands, it's not to do exactly what the husband says all the time. It's to be submissive to the husband as the church was submissive to Christ. And it's like an adoration type of submissiveness, like you want to do things for your husband, or you want to, if you're a wife, you want to do things for your husband because you adore them. It doesn't become a chore. And it says that husbands need to lead their wives and also be submissive to their wives, in that same factor that it's not about what somebody says or what somebody does. It's about that relationship that you built in order to have the conversations, in order to keep the open conversation and communication. So the next thing that Paul talks about is he moves on to coworkers. Now, you're a good leader in the home means that you're going to take it out into the workplace. Once you have grown that ability to be a good leader, it follows you. It's something that not necessarily, if you don't use, you lose, but once you learn that ability, you're going to be less likely to not use it. And then lastly, we see that God ends relationships. He ends up with relationships with outsiders, meaning people that you don't know, people that you're not friends with, just the run-of-the-mill, everyday, at the supermarket, and you stop by and say, hey, how's it going? How's your day? Those kind of things. God has a lot to talk about that as well, because once you become the leader in the home and in the workplace, you're not going to be that person that has negative comments to say about people when they come up to you, or you're going to be that person that goes out and actually says, hey, how's your day going? Is there anything I can pray for you for? It's just one of those things. Once you have managed to learn that ability. It's just something that God has placed in you. So leaders have to connect with their followers, because God has placed everyone in a cycle of care. And what I mean by leaders have to connect with their followers, from everything from parenting to supervising to evangelizing. These circles of relationship grow the other circles, giving them credibility to the next one, if you will. When you're a leader at home, you gain credibility to be a better leader at work. And all right, so one thing that John C. Maxwell says, and I'll quote him on, is that if it doesn't work at home, don't export it. So if you can't be that leader that your home needs, there's no way that you need to be that kind of person outside in the workplace, outside in the world. Success is gained when you gain the respect of the people that are closest to you, that know us, that know you the best. That's, I mean, when it comes down to it, you can have all the money in the world, you can have all of the toys, everything, all the freedom in the world, but you're not successful unless the people that know you the best respect you. So I hope that Colossians 4 ended up talking to you like it talked to me today. It was pretty cool to see those 3 different levels that Paul outlined for us. I hope that this video will speak to you, and if it does, and you think that it can speak to somebody within your circle, by all means, I always tell you, share that video, get it out there, because it's not my words, it's God's words that have come down through what I've read and through what I've learned in this. Now, if you like my videos, definitely I love to see that you throw the thumb up. And if you've come across this video and you don't know what this is all about, well, I'll tell you really quickly. This is my attempt at being accountable to staying in God's Word every day. Now, this video that I make is a video of the things that I've learned from the verses that I've read, and I want to get it out there because God's Word does need to be spoken. If you just inhale it all the time and you never exhale it, you end up blowing up like a balloon, and eventually you get to that point where you're just so full of it, but you can't let it out. There's nowhere for it to go, and it needs to be out there in the world. So definitely love that you've stopped by. I love that you found this video, and if you like what I'm talking about, there's other videos that you can look at, and if you like that as well, by all means go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell at the top of the page, and that'll let you be notified about every video that I put out. So I hope that you guys are staying strong. I hope that you guys are being motivated and that you're being safe. Go and grow. God bless.